is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And Cardinals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Oh, the ballpark is just buzzing here for game number 2, and what a win it was last night for St. Louis. It's the Atlanta Braves, the St. Louis Cardinals coming up. Game 2 tonight on Fox Sports Midwest. The Garcias last night on display. We start with Jaime. 8 innings, 11 strikeouts as he picked up the win. You want defense? We had that. Adonis Garcia, terrific play by the Braves third baseman. One of the best we've seen this year. Back to Jaime. Cardinals had 2 hits last night. This is the second of those 2. A base hit into right. This would score Matt Holliday. That would prove to be the game winner. Jim Hayes is here. That's the Mad Hungarian Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jaime Garcia, terrific last night. Turn the page. It's Carlos Martinez here in game 2.
And last night's 1-0 victory was very reminiscent of last season. It was July 25th when Martinez was matched up against former teammate Shelby Miller. Martinez came out ahead 1-0. Hopefully we'll see that type of pitching from the big guy today. He's looking for win number 11.
All right, Carlos Martinez, ERA now under 3 this year, gets the call in game number 2. We know he can be dominant. We'll see tonight. Baseball coming up. for Roberto Hernandez and the Atlanta Braves. Meanwhile, for the Cardinals, the veteran now, Carlos Martinez. It's our Lowe's home field advantage. Last 5 games, the ERA of 2.18. What has that done? It's dropped his season ERA to below 3. And anytime in this day and age of baseball you have an ERA that's under 3, usually you're doing something right. It's Carlos Martinez. He'll get the call tonight, looking for win number 11. Cardinals have wrapped up batting practice. Jed Jerko is in the lineup. So is Matt Holliday. Braves, Cardinals, coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Martinez looking for win number 11 here tonight, and the Cardinals trying to make it 2 in a row back home here at Busch. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bud Light Live, by Chevrolet. Visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealer for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. The weather is ideal. It's another huge crowd here tonight. 84 degrees, along with the Mad Hungarian Al Rabaski. Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Busch Stadium, game number 2, the Atlanta Braves and the St. Louis Cardinals. There's a look at Ender Inciarte swinging a hot bat at the top of this Braves lineup, followed by the switch-hitting Eric Ibar. Freddie Freeman, 4 strikeouts last night. Then Matt Kemp, who's now 1 for 13 as a member of the Braves. Nick Markakis, Adonis Garcia, Jace Peterson, longtime Major League catcher A.J. Pierzynski, and Roberto Hernandez. Inciarte, a 16-game hitting streak is on the line here tonight. He's hit .383 in that streak, the second longest of his career. He had an 18-gamer while a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Well, you notice a lot of lefties in the lineup for the Atlanta Braves, and that's because of what this man does against right-handed batters. Held them to a tune of a 197 average. Only 5 extra base hits all year by right-handed batters. 4 doubles and a home run against Carlos Martinez.
Got to keep these first 2 guys off the order. You mentioned Inciarte with his hitting streak. Ibar behind him has a 10-game hitting streak, and then you have to neutralize the part of the order, Freeman and Kemp in particular.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Well, make it 17 games. 17-game hitting streak for Ender Inciarte. That didn't take long.
Well, he started just like this last night. First hit of the game, going up there, extending his hitting streak to 16. Reenacts it. Hopefully Ibar, who has the 10-game hitting streak, can hit into double play like Beckham did last night.
The Cardinals defensively around the horn is presented by Dobbs. Holiday in left, Tommy Pham a start in center, Stephen Piscotty is in right. Jerko, Peralta, Carpenter, and Moss on the infield, and Molina is behind the plate. Well, Jed Jerko with Ibar at the plate, you have to play in. He's a very good bunter. 4 bunt hits this year, 107 for his career, and so Jerko way in on the grass at third base as Moss holds at first.
Got off to a terrible start for the Braves, both offensively and defensively, but it really has settled in and hitting the ball pretty well now.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Eric Ibar. Jaime Garcia, first time in 61 years. Cardinals won a game 1-0 when the only RBI in the game came from the pitcher. Last time it happened, July 17th, 1955, Harvey Haddix against Pittsburgh. And Jaime was just sensational in just 89 pitches. He was efficient even with the 11 strikeouts. The pitch count was low. Did not get a chance to go back out in the 9th inning. That save went to Seung-Hwan Oh.
Harvey Haddix. Little guy, really wasn't very big, spectacles, and not an imposing figure at all. That was one of his gems, and of course he was matched up that one time through a no-hitter with more than 9 innings and lost it.
He was perfect in 12 and then gave up a home run in the 13th. Harvey Haddix. He was known as the Cat because of his likeness to Harry the Cat Brackeen. 2-2 the count here on Eric Ibar. Since July 19th, hitting close to 400. Came to the Braves in the Andrelton Simmons deal from the Angels. Jerko now backs up with 2 strikes, the 2-2. Changeup had him out in front.
That was kind of a strange deal, wasn't it? Ibar, an older player coming here for one of the best defensive shortstops in all of baseball. Just spoiling that pitch down and away.
We were thinking at the time in spring training when Peralta went down, Jerko, not really an everyday shortstop, but was getting an extended look, that maybe the Cardinals would have interest in Ibar this spring, and thank goodness they didn't. We saw the emergence of Aledmys Diaz. Little chopper to short. There's Peralta, flip, and they'll get the lead man. And there's one away here in the top of the first.
It really wasn't a double play ball, and of course Martinez, that's a big part of his game. He's induced the major league best 24 ground ball double plays this year, but not hit hard enough, and Ibar runs too well to high hop the chopper there to get the force out, but no way to get the batter.
Well, the Cardinals may be facing the Braves at the right time in terms of Freddie Freeman. Last 16 at bats, he has 11 strikeouts, and that included 4 last night. As the Braves are taking an extended look to see if Carpenter was still on the bag on that turn, and I, saw this in the replay and was thinking this, that maybe he was not on the bag on the turn at second. We shall see.
You thought last night there was a very close play that they did not appeal it, but looks like they're talking about it here. Used to be the neighborhood where he was definitely.
Oh, he's off the bag.
In the vicinity, you would always give that to the fielder, and they said that was so they wouldn't get hurt. And now, in an effort not to get middle infielders hurt, they make you stay on the bag to where you can get hurt.
Well, clearly, in my mind, he is off the bag. However, you think about the amount of time it's taken Brian Snitker to make this move and challenge it. If that's part of the equation, what's happening here?
But why are you bringing all 4 umpires for a conference? Either you do it or you don't. That's Hunter Wendelstedt, last night's home plate umpire. Jerry Lane is the crew chief, working behind the plate tonight.
Now, what about the runner peeling off the bag here? The slide, no, clearly.
Yeah.
Slide is there. See, this to me is where Major League Baseball has to have the umpires address this to the fans in attendance, and certainly to us, so we can try to explain exactly why there would be a delay with this. It should be fairly clear cut. If he wants to replay, let's do it. If not, let's go.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little confused why they had the conference with all 4 umpires before they decided to put the headset on, which they're doing right now. And I think we all know what the outcome's going to be, safe at second.
Well, an issue for the Braves has been their offense in terms of home runs. They do not hit for power. They don't score a lot of runs, the fewest right now in the major leagues. They give up the most in the National League. And part of that is on the shoulders of Freddie Freeman. He's their 3rd place hitter, their big bopper, and he's hitting just .205 with runners in scoring position this year. Last 5 years combined, it was .310. Still trying to figure out why there would be even the slightest of delays in looking at that. If he wants to look at it, replay it, it should be done.
Right.
Two balls and no strikes.
Martinez usually has very quick and efficient first innings. Still can right now.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. In the dirt. 3 balls, no strikes, and not the way that Martinez wants to start this game. There's an error, by the way, ruled on that play, and I'm assuming it has to go against Carpenter, which would be his 11th.
Correct.
.30 pitch, and he walked him. Bases are loaded. We saw last night Jaime Garcia midway through his start dealt with a situation of runners at first and third, nobody out, came away unscathed. Earlier in the week it was Seung-Hwan Oh against the Reds. 8th inning, bases loaded, got out of that jam without any runs scoring. And now it's trouble for Jaime Garcia. Here's Matt Kemp. Since the All-Star break, 17 games, 7 home runs, but just 1 for 13 as an Atlanta Brave. First pitch is a strike.
Martinez very tough on the right-handed batters, like you said. It's only allowed 5 extra base hits all season long to a right-handed bat. A home run and 4 doubles. He's held the opposition to a 186 average in the first inning.
0-1 pitch. We'll throw the numbers out. What's he trying to do here outside of maybe the strikeout of Kemp and then the double play? But how are you approaching Matt Kemp with the bases loaded here in the first?
Well, you just have to attack him in the zone, to go after him, and then get ahead in the count, and then hopefully he'll go after a pitch out of the strike zone.
So now he's ahead, 1-2.
Got the good changeup. He's got that breaking ball and explosive fastball. Jaime last night really had such a late movement on some of the pitches. One of the best pitches he threw was a strike 3 to Kemp, where it looked like he tried to hit a breaking ball off his belt buckle.
Here's a 1-2 pitch by Martinez. Way outside. Evens it up at 2-2. The Cardinal bird was the giveaway tonight, a bobblehead for all the collectors out there, and it is a huge crowd on a beautiful night here in St. Louis. The 2-2. Struck him out. Got him to expand the zone. Big strikeout for Martinez.
And you get in a little jam like that, you get the 1 out, especially when it's via the strikeout, and you get him to chase a pitch. All of a sudden your confidence starts mounting. Remember, he leaves the major leagues with 24 ground ball double plays. but all of a sudden you start feeling the confidence that you can get out of this jam.
Here's Nick Markakis hitting .265. Came in as a pinch hitter late in game 1. 6 home runs. He's driven in 56. First pitch, a strike. It's Jerry Lane, the crew chief. Stu Sherwallard is at first. Trip Gibson at second. Hunter Wendelstedt is at third.
He gets their best hitter with runners in scoring position.
Here's the 0-1. Hit out of play. Nothing in 2. And you can hear with this crowd starting to get behind Martinez here in the first inning.
He's done it again by getting ahead in the count.
He was ahead on Kemp 1-2, then struck him out on 2-2. No balls, 2 strikes on Nick Markakis. What we've seen too from Martinez, even though the numbers have been down against him in terms of average, sometimes he'll have innings like this to start a game and then he just settles in.
That's not uncommon with a lot of good starters.
1-2 pitch, fouled back. Markakis has spent the better part of his career with the Baltimore Orioles and then signed a 4-year $44 million deal with the Atlanta Braves. A single, an error, a walk, bases loaded. And the 1-2. Braves come in at 39 and 70. The Cardinals at 58 and 51. So double plays this season off his bat. The 24 induced on the ground by Martinez. There's your double play ball. Carpenter, little hesitation, couldn't get it out of the glove, and a run will score.
Matt's kicking himself because you're exactly right. Went to turn and didn't have the handle on it. There's just enough of a delay, and Peralta could get the force out, but no time for the return throw. So the Braves take an early 1-0 lead.
And the error comes back to cost Carlos Martinez and the Cardinals.
It's also a reflection of what's happened this year, where Cardinals have not turned double plays when they should have. You see, he almost lost the ball, but regained it and then got the feed over to Peralta for the force.
Here's Garcia, and that's tapped foul. He had the amazing catch that we saw last night. Third baseman of the Atlanta Braves going into the stands. A terrific play. 269 his average. 8 home runs. He has driven in 35. 2 outs and the 0-1. Early starts at 6:15, and that's a tough Sun field, in particular for the right fielder. Here's a 1-1. Popped up. That'll find the seats out of play. Steven Piscotty with the shades on. How about Tommy Pham?
He's got his hat.
We know how he likes to take off that hat and use that as he's running to shade from the sun.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got sunglasses to go out for the next inning.
Here's a 1-2.
Mentioned Garcia last year. You saw him at third base. This year he got off to a very poor start offensively and defensively. And they sent him to AAA to learn how to play left field.
One-two pitch by Martinez. Little chopper foul.
When Adonis was recalled, all of a sudden they said, well, we got the outfield covered, but we need a third baseman. So he went right back to third base, and they said that he's been fielding much better, and the play that he made last night is more of an indication of how well he's played at third base.
Signed by the Braves as a minor league free agent. April of last year.
He could hit, so they wanted that bat in the order.
1-2 pitch. Fouled back. A couple of those sliders he's gotten away with here in that first inning. Long look. The 1-2. Ground ball. There is Moss. He'll lead Martinez to the bag. The Braves had the bases loaded, nobody out. They do pick up a run. Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first. Is making his first ever start for the Atlanta Braves. Cardinals, though, have seen him. His name then was Fausto Carmona. Back in 2006, Jake Westbrook made the start for the Cleveland Indians in interleague play. At that time, Hernandez was a reliever. June 28th, 2006, that's Johnny Peralta at short. He threw it away. David Eckstein and the Cardinals had a walk-off win. Hernandez last season with Houston did make 11 starts, appeared in 20 games. Braves debut tonight, called up from AAA, and the 14th different starter used by Atlanta this year.
And that equals Cincinnati for the most starters. Hernandez, back in 2007, he was a starter with Cleveland and he won 19 ball games. It was 19-8.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Carpenter, taken low. He's been with Cleveland, Tampa Bay, the Phillies, Dodgers, Houston, and now the Atlanta Braves. Carpenter 0 for 4 last night.
Hernandez was started with Toronto this year at AAA, and then was released from them, picked up by the Braves right around the All-Star break, and 0-2 for Gwinnett, the AAA affiliate. You see our Hyundai pitch arsenal, what he throws. But he was 0-2 at the Braves AAA, but they've just in need of pitching.
4 straight, and he walked him on the heels of a game in which the Cardinals received 7 walks last night. Braves defensively with Kemp in left, Inciarte in center. Markakis is in right. Garcia, Ibar, Peterson, Freeman along the infield, and Brzezinski is behind the plate. Around the horn presented by Dobbs.
How about the fact the Cardinals, as you mentioned, walked 7 times and just only 1 really came around to score. That rarely happens too.
Here's Piscotty. Strike 1. Steven at 281. 15 home runs, and he has driven in 60. Outfield is straight away for Piscotty. 1-0 Braves here in the home half of the first. Short lead at first base by Matt Carpenter. Last night, the second win scoring 1 or 2 runs for the Cardinals this year in a game. They're now 2-28. Nick Markakis, the right fielder, dealing with that Sunfield. Fought off into shallow center, racing in Inciarte to make the catch.
He's a very good outfielder, Inciarte, and you think about Frank Coors on the bench. He got his 133rd assist last night. The next most in baseball is the right fielder Nick Markakis with 100. Inciarte, he's a very solid ball player.
That's one, if you're the Arizona Diamondbacks, you're wondering, well, was it the right deal when Shelby Miller is pitching at AAA? And there's a look at Frank Coor.
Remember last year, Shelby pitched very effectively for the Braves, but just couldn't get any run support. And they said towards the end of that season, it really started playing with his mind, and then it kind of carried over where he's ineffective this year for Arizona, and it seemed like he was relieved when he finally went to AAA.
It really wasn't a matter of run support in Arizona. It was the fact that he couldn't go deep into games. A lot of walks, lack of control. He was getting beat up.
Yeah, I mean, it was last year he pitched very effectively and just didn't get the run support. Can't say that this year.
1 ball, 1 strike. A shift is on here for Brandon Moss on the infield. Outfield is deep. Another check on Matt Carpenter. And how about that? This Braves outfield, which features Kemp, Inciarte, and Markakis tonight, 27 outfield assists, National League high.
Also a reflection of how many base runners they have the opportunity to throw out too.
A lot of times, though, you say, well, a guy has a lot of outfield assists because the league will want to run on that particular individual. You can't say that about Jeff Francoeur
or Markakis.
I mean, they've got a good reputation of being good defensive players. Here's a 2-1.
Where sometimes you'll look and see a team that turns the most double plays. Well, it's not that they're that good. It's just that the pitching staff gives up so many hits and so many opportunities. There's Francoeur. You saw him on the bench. Markakis gets the start tonight.
Three and 1 the count. Chance for Moss to do some damage. He was trying to with that swing. Man, does he take a cut or what? Whew.
Well, that's kind of what he's known for. You know, he's going to strike out his fair share, but this year we're seeing the power return in a very good location down and away, just beyond his reach.
See if they want to start the runner here. That's Carpenter at first base. 3-2 the count on Brandon Moss. Not running, and the pitch is swung on and missed. Let's turn to Al Raboski's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, we want a repeat performance, meaning that we want Martinez and the pitching staff to do exactly what they did last night, pick up their 7th shutout of the year. But let's get the line moving, get the offense going. Only 2 hits last night, and one of those, the game-winning RBI and base hit, was from starter Garcia. So the offense needs to do their share. Very few hits in recent games, and even fewer extra base hits.
Holiday at the plate. 236 the average this season. 18 home runs. He's driven in 59. Batting in the cleanup spot, so he's been removed from that familiar number 3 hole. Batted 5th in back-to-back games, and cleanup here tonight. 1-1 the count.
running up and in. Talking about with Derek May and also Ralph Garr, the Roadrunner. You know, about rarely do hitters get pitched inside, and so they had a comfortable zone, and guys have a hard time getting out of the way. You talk to any hitter that played 50 years ago or more, and you say, how would you like to go up there knowing that you will never be thrown at, or if you're hit, it's a blatant mistake? And they say, give me a bat.
2-1 the count. That's ripped into right center field. Inciarte cuts it off. Carpenter on his way to third. Base hit, Holiday. Runners at the corners.
So Peralta, who's had great success against his former teammate, come up here and see if he can't do something with 2 outs. Matt Holiday now 14 hits away from 2,000. And towards the gap out in the right center. They probably easily can go to third base. And we saw Inciarte with that good throw right back to second.
Here's Johnny Peralta. He is 5 for 10 against this right-hander. Really the only one that's had an extended look at him in this lineup.
Teammates quite a while back with the Cleveland days.
Be a little of this, little of that with this lineup for Mike Matheny. In particular, when you talk about Peralta, shortstop, third base, keeping Jerko in there. Carpenter returns, trying to keep Colton Wong somewhat sharp if you can. It's a tough task with the multiple options that he has on a nightly basis.
He was asked about that in center field, you know, the juggling act of who's out in center, and made the point that he's getting pretty good production from the center fielders now. And
he is one home run shy of 200.
Yeah, when you get your chance, you got to make it most of it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Runners at first and third. Martinez in the top half of the first, 30 pitches. This will be number 20 for Roberto Hernandez. Just missed. AJ Pierzynski trying to frame that. Missouri Lottery Fox tracks.
Pretty close right there. Lucky Johnny's still in the batter's box.
The 2-2. Peralta swing and a miss, and he strikes out. 2 in the inning. Cardinals strand 2. There's a look at Jen Langosh, MLB.com. You could be the cure. We'll talk about that when we come back. Strauss, and this was designed with him in mind. And we turn it over to Jim Hayes.
Yeah, Jen Langosh, along with the local baseball writers and the St. Louis Cardinals, wanted to do something, so they came up with the idea of getting behind something called Be the Match, and they're having a donor drive at the game tonight here at the Family Pavilion. You can see behind us a lot of people are signing up, and Jen Langosh, again, of MLB.com, one of the people that got behind this. So what is Be the Match all about?
Yeah, Be the Match is the world's largest bone marrow registry. So essentially for those who are waiting a life-saving transplant, they're able oftentimes to find their match through Be the Match. It's interesting and important to know that 14,000 people right now are awaiting a match, and 70% of those people are not going to be able to find one from a family member. So they rely very heavily on strangers, many of whom we've signed up here today to join the registry and possibly save a life.
And of those thousands of people waiting desperately for a match, a lot of them are children, right?
Yeah, very many children. We had a few children here today that are survivors. A 3-year-old boy who had a match when he was 5 months old. So those are very common cases. It takes 15 minutes to join the registry. All it involves is filling out some paperwork, doing a quick cheek swab, sending that in. You've joined the registry, and again, you have the opportunity to save somebody's life.
And again, the bone marrow helps people with leukemia or other sorts of blood cancers, right?
Yeah, lymphoma, leukemia are the most common. Other blood cancers, sickle cell cancers. I mean, we're doing this to honor Joe Strauss, our lost friend and colleague who had leukemia and fought it very bravely. So this helps those with blood cancer. Very easy procedure to donate bone marrow. In 3/4 of the cases, you can do it just in a couple hours, just like giving blood. The other 25% of the cases, when a child is the recipient, it's a minor surgical procedure.
And I know we've had a steady stream of people coming through here today. If someone can't make it here to the stadium tonight, they can still get involved. How?
Yeah, you can go to join.bethematch.org/STL Cardinals. There you can learn more about the Be the Match mission, what it means to be a donor. You can also request a registry kit. They'll send it to you, you swab your cheek, you send it back, and you're entered in the registry.
Well, Jen, thank you for putting this together again with the help of the baseball writers, the St. Louis Cardinals, and a lot of media has helped you along too, right?
Yeah, thank you guys for your support. Thanks to Cardinal Nation for coming out today, and we hope that some of you at home who maybe didn't know much about Be the Match, just do a little research, educate yourself, find out how easy it is and the impact that you can have.
Great work. Thank you, Jen.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, Be the Match, Dan.
All right, good stuff, Jimmy, and we all miss Joe Strauss. No doubt about that. Covered the Cardinals for so many years and then became a columnist at the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Did a great job in that regard, too. I was amazed at how he covered this team. Some of the good, some of the bad.
Yeah.
But he did a wonderful job, and Jen has carried that on the Cardinals website, Cardinals.com. She is the beat writer, and it's a wonderful thing that the baseball writers have done, and all of us at Fox Sports Midwest and the Cardinals are behind it 100%. 1-2 pitch to Hernandez. Jace Peterson grounded back to Martinez. A.J. Brzezinski, a ground ball that was hit to second. And now Roberto Hernandez. 1-2 the count. Second strikeout for Carlos Martinez. Remember it on the run. When the Cardinals score 6, any size drink, just 50 cents the next day. That's coffee fountain frozen drinks. When they score, you pour. At your nearest on the run, you earned it. Yadier Molina will lead it off, followed by Jed Jerko and Tommy Pham. Congratulations to one of the all-time greats in Rams history, St. Louis Rams history. Orlando Pace headed to the Hall of Fame. He'll be inducted into Canton tonight. And also Mr. Green from Granite City.
From Granite City. And this is DeMarco Farr, who will miss here in the local radio waves as he's moving back to California, for saying he thinks Orlando could still play.
He was an unbelievable athlete. So nimble, strong, quick. Part of the greatest show on turf.
John Garagiola is watching broadcast, the son of Mickey Garagiola and nephew of Joe. Always nice to get a note from John.
Molina hitting .272. Orlando Pace calling St. Louis home. One ball, one strike. My understanding is he'll be recognized a future game here at the ballpark coming up. I would think that you're looking at Kurt Warner maybe next year going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, another member of the greatest show on turf. Maybe Torrey Holt. Aeneas Williams already in. Marshall Faulk. Aeneas Williams spent 4 years with the St. Louis Rams and loved the community so much he decided to call this home.
Right. Ordained minister, right? I remember when the football Cardinals and baseball Cardinals were kind of share the old Busch Stadium. And
nice play by Hernandez. He's got time, steps and throws.
We do a lot of things together, but I remember when we had Lee Smith and those football players would look at Lee Smith and say,
should be a tight end.
He could be playing in football. He was as big as any of the players. The big
Lee would
hat.
be, if Lee was playing right now, he would be laying down, taking a nice long nap. Then about the 6th or 7th, wake up, stretch, get loose, lumber, and I mean lumber slowly down to the bullpen, and then get ready to pick up another save.
And then it would take another inning or so for him to get from the bullpen to the mound.
I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't understand it.
Well, it's still a situation where baseball writers have not acknowledged closers the way they should. Some of the ones that initially were in were guys that were like a Raleigh Fingers, Eckersley. Both of them did some starting. Eckersley was a 20-game winner as a starter before.
Hit to second. Our crew doesn't miss much, and they found a fedora on the field, on the warning track here at the ballpark.
It was last night's giveaway.
There it is. Right now there is a nervous fan in the bleachers realizing that their fedora no longer belongs to them and their giveaways in the field of play.
And somebody in Bill Finley's crew will be out there in a minute.
So 2 outs. Tommy Pham. He's 5 for his last 10.
Not exactly like the seat cushion night at the old ballpark that about 20,000 of them end up on the field.
We've had 2 of those nights which the Cardinals had walk-offs. Tommy Hers is probably the most famous. And then I believe it was in 2006 against the Indians, I think, that ended a long losing streak on a seat cushion night. Little chopper that's hit to third, and Adonis Garcia makes the play. So Roberto Hernandez is through 2 in his Braves debut. 1-0 Atlanta. Baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. By your local Volkswagen dealer. And taste the all-new Jack's Brewhouse Bacon Burger today at Jack in the Box. Limited time only at participating restaurants. Good folks from the show Cardinals Insider inside our production truck tonight and taking in the sights and sounds behind the scenes. All we can say is good luck. Base hit past the diving Carpenter into right field. Inciarte is 2 for 2. August 27th, Edward Jones will present 30,000 fans 16 and older a collectible plaque honoring Chris Carpenter, Joe Torre, Terry Moore, and Sam Braden. Those 4 inducted into the Cardinals Hall of Fame earlier in that day. So get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Hopefully we'll have the chance that day to visit with Chris Carpenter and Joe Torre during our telecast. Here's Eric Ibar. Reached on an air by Carpenter. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Ibar was showing bunt as Martinez threw over to Brandon Moss.
Sometimes you'll do that just to allow the bench to get a read what the intent of the hitter is to do. Ibar 455 during his 10-game hitting streak.
And again, Ibar was showing bunt. We mentioned earlier that he is a very good bunter.
He's got 4 bunt hits this season and 107 in his career, most by any active player.
Here's a 1-0. Carlos Martinez, the season ERA is now under 3, and that's another thing that's really changed in the game. If you have, for the most part, when you look at starting pitching, if you have an ERA in today's day and age under 3, you're doing something right. The 1-1 pitch taken for a ball and a pickoff, and back in safely is Inciarte. He does have 11 stolen bases.
He started to take off and then stopped, and that's what Yachty saw after the ball came to him, so he tried to fire back there. So he takes off, he stops, and then he has to get back. Everybody around the league knows that you can't stray too far off those bases with Yachty catching.
2-1 pitch. Late break and a base hit into center field. Inciarte winds up at third. Peralta was going to cover the bag with the base stealer Inciarte, and he had a very late break to second base. Almost as if Carpenter kind of gave up on it, realizing that Peralta was there ranging to his left.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it. It's on the second base side, but Carpenter was just kind of content to back up. Now, it probably was well placed when neither one of them could have got to it. But here we are again. Table setters have done their job getting on ahead of the thumpers.
Freeman walked his first time up, and he hits a fly ball into center field. Tommy Pham is back, and it is gone. A long home run off the bat of Freeman. 3-run shot, 4-0 Atlanta.
Right after that pitch was made, Carlos Martinez walked towards home plate, head down, knew that he was going to need a new baseball. One of the longest home runs we've seen to center field. That almost got up to the concrete in front of the batter's eye, the top of the grassy knoll.
So home run number 19 for Freeman, and he jumps up to 46 driven in this year. Change up, and that baby was crushed.
But you Saw where it started up high and ended up around the thighs.
Pitch taken high by Matt Kemp.
Go ball hitter Freeman, and he gave it a ride. Got the arms extended.
So the Cardinals have to come back tonight trailing 4-0. Chicago earlier today out on the West Coast against the A's picked up a win. 4-0 was the final in that game. That's the first out here in the third. Here's Markakis. Freddie Freeman with that long home run. He had come into play really struggling. He has a walk and now a 3-run homer, and there is a ball taken by Markakis. Jerry Lane is the home plate umpire, and back on June 28th, foul ball off the bat of Markakis, and the umpires are protected only so much, and it was one of those odd foul balls that caught the side of his head just past the protection near the forehead. And since that time, Jerry Lane has still been dealing with some of the, I don't want to say concussion like symptoms, but soreness, some headaches. That was back on June 28th.
Sound like he turned his head, doesn't it?
May have.
Which is a no-no.
3-2 the count. A lot of pitches early on for Martinez. Already at 55. Has recorded just 7 outs. 3-2 hit sharply to Moss. Takes the extra base hit away. Outstanding play by Brandon Moss.
Martinez has pitched much better on the road. He's got 6 of his 10 wins on the road. Higher ERA. Here, a hard hit ball, as you said. Moss dives forward towards the line, gets up and gets the out. He has pitched much better at home his last 5 starts, Martinez. His first 6 starts at Busch Stadium, he had an ERA over 5. The last 5, it's 2.18. That's taking a little hit today.
Picking up the pace, and the 1-1 in on the hands, and a soft liner to first. Freddie Freeman with home run number 19 and a 4-0 Braves lead midway through 3. Team up with Girls on the Run and their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Registration is now open. Learn more about how you can get involved this fall. Visit foxsportsupports.com. Freddie Freeman, 3-run homer, 4-run lead for the Atlanta Braves. Roberto Hernandez, his Braves debut here tonight. He has walked a man, struck out 2, allowed a base hit to Holiday, and he has set down the last 4 he's seen. It's Martinez, Carpenter, and Piscotty for St. Louis. Martinez showing bunt, looks at a strike. The Cardinals pitchers have produced 19 RBIs this year. That's 9 more than all of last season. There's still just about 2 months left to go. We'll see Adam Wainwright tomorrow. There's Trevor Rosenthal on the left. And the 0-2. Martinez puts it in play. He grounds out to short. Trotting down the line. Power stats brought to you by Kubota. Slugging percentage leaders, Moss. Then your leadoff man, Carpenter. Aledmys Diaz, who is on the DL. He and his wife just had the birth of their first child yesterday. Jed Jerko on that list, along with Stephen Piscotty, both at 471.
Carpenter came off the DL yesterday. He had a 988 OPS, missing a month of the season.
Walk his first time up. One ball and 1 strike.
That was 0 for 4 yesterday against Braves pitching, and 0 for his last 9. Did walk the. That's usually a good sign.
Shift is on, and Carpenter held up. 2 balls and 1 strike. This changes the complexion of this lineup when he's at the top of it. 6 different leadoff men tried to fill in for Carpenter, and they hit around 230 combined in the last month. 2-1 popped up. Again, Garcia along with Pierzynski. They can't come up with it. A year ago, that ball may be caught. That's some of the new netting that they've put in here to Busch Stadium to protect the fans. Right by the camera well.
AJ, 39 years of age. Out of the reach. Still loves it.
Saw the great play by Garcia last night that we've talked about. And he had another chance to come up with a very tough opportunity. Taken low. This is last night's incredible catch by Garcia.
Remember, Greg Garcia was on first base, so he sees him tumbling into the stands. He takes off and goes to second, and Adonis had the.
That's well hit. Into right and foul.
Adonis Garcia had the wherewithal to know that that runner would be tagging up, and from the seat of his pants, a couple rows in, threw the ball to second base.
There's the Garcias.
At one point, Garcia threw a pitch to Garcia, and he grounded out to Garcia last night.
It's sharply to first, and there's Freeman. Well, you talked about 39-year-old A.J. Pierzynski leads active major leaguers, this being game number 1,931 behind the plate. He's closing in on 16,300 innings. That is 6th since the start of the divisional era, which was in 1969. Number 1 on that list, Pudge Rodriguez, in hits, innings, and games for catchers.
And how about among catchers with at least 1,500 games caught? Brzezinski's .995 fielding percentage ranks the top mark. And you think of him as an offensive weapon.
Picked up hit number 2,000 earlier this season. There's Yadier Molina. Those numbers piling up for him as well. Remember Brzezinski, the Cardinals picked him up when Yadi got hurt a couple years ago. And it was Frank Thomas going into the Hall of Fame. And Brzezinski was there. He did not have a team at that time, and the Cardinals picked him up for the stretch run. His first game with all places, Wrigley Field, where he was booed, and I mean booed, booed loudly, and picked up a couple of hits and really contributed nicely to that team. Piscotty, a foul tip held on to by AJ, and a strikeout for Roberto Hernandez. He has 3. We played 3, 4-0 Atlanta. Check in with Jim Hayes.
And Dan, a little bit more on Tyler Lyons, who went on the DL on Wednesday. Lyons is on crutches now. He told me he's been told that he's dealing with a stress fracture behind his right knee. He also told me he'll have a better idea about what lies ahead for him after he sees a specialist in Chicago on Monday. Lyons told me there wasn't a specific incident when he might have injured that knee, just something that seemed to be getting gradually worse. He said it didn't affect anything to do with his pitching until the series in Miami. That's when he knew he had to do something, and then hopefully he'll get some good news from the specialist on Monday.
3-1. I know you had a nice visit last night with Seung-Hwan Oh.
And I talked to Mike Matheny about that too. Oh will tell you through his interpreter Eugene Koo, he's used to pitching every day, and if we're up to him, he'd be pitching every day. I asked Matheny about that, and if early on O was lobbying to pitch every day, and Matheny told me yes, and he stressed every single day he was being lobbied. Mike said he explained to O that they were looking out for his best interest by giving him some rest, and Mike told me O can prepare mentally as if he's going to pitch in every game. He can long toss, but he has to understand some nights he's not pitching. And Matheny said, oh, grabbing a hold of that closer spot has really stabilized the bullpen. Dan, as Mike put it, if he had not, we'd be in a very tough spot.
Jace Peterson, the walk. Thank you, Jim. Oh, his 9th save last night. 4 Cardinal rookies have collected 10 or more saves. The last all the way back in 1986 Todd Worrell had 36 that year.
Yeah, that was a little different situation. Remember, in '85, he came up late in the season and was the Cardinal closer. But because he had so few innings, the next year he was the Rookie of the Year as the Cardinal closer and did a great job. Also on that list is Joe Horner. And Joe Horner, an outstanding lefty pitcher. He was with the...
There's a fly ball off the bat of Pierzynski into center.
Horner was with the Cardinals in the 60s. Great reliever for them. And then he was part of the Kurt Flood trade to Philadelphia, and the Dick Allen. But Joe passed along a few years back and way too soon, but he and Dal Maxfield had Cardinal travel and did a great job. But Darlene Horner, Joe's widow, says there's 52 members of the Horner family here in attendance tonight, all from Iowa.
One out, and here is Hernandez with a runner at first. Pitch number 67 already from Martinez. That bunt is pushed foul for strike one. Last sacrifice was back in 2014.
Houston last year, and they made 16 starts in the International League this year. Hernandez before being called up today. Trade away a couple of their starters. They got 3 currently on the disabled list. And one of their top prospects, Blair, was supposed to be in contention to make that start tonight. But last Wednesday, throwing a bullpen session, he hurt his knee, and he's on the disabled list down at AAA, and so Hernandez got the call.
Oh, 2 the count. And he did go, so a strikeout from Martinez. That's number 3. Arcia in the driver's seat concerning Carlos Martinez. 2.99 ERA. Those are the ERAs of the starters. Wainwright's has dropped around 4 after a very slow start to his year. And he'll get the call tomorrow in game 3 of this series. Inciarte 2 for 2. 2 outs, runner at first. Ground ball, broken bat, slowly hit to second. Carpenter. Braves strand a runner. They have left 4 on, and they lead it 4-0. Major League Baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. Aaron Sanchez, he's 11-1 for Toronto. Steven Strasburg 15-1, and Chris Tillman for the Baltimore Orioles. That trio all in action. Tillman 14-3. And some talk around Toronto of a 6-man rotation.
They take such care. Got a letter from a gentleman that was talking about, thought that we were advocating the 100 pitch mark. I think it's ridiculous. It's just, that's what the reality is today of baseball, that particularly young pitchers, they try and get them out of there pretty much at that 100 pitches.
Here's the 0-1. There's a base hit into right field. Snaps a string of 7 in a row for Roberto Hernandez.
Just the second hit allowed, third base runner. And good concentration by Moss. Down and in, drops the bat head. Holiday has the other Cardinal hit tonight. See if he can't get something going here in the Cardinals' fourth.
Holiday, a base hit into right center. The only thing I could say is, and I agree with you, Al, I mean, sometimes it's frustrating to look at a pitch count and see a player come out of a game. It's just, the fact is, this is a different game, and the data shows injuries, stress on the arm, because if it didn't, you'd see more teams leaving their starters in.
Yeah, and I mean, my counter to that is they all get hurt anyway. You never saw all the injuries.
It's frustrating. Before. I mean, you know, last night it was frustrating. At least in my mind it was. I mean, I wanted to see Garcia go back out for the ninth. Ultimately, the Cardinals won, as you get a look at a great shot here at Busch Stadium at this big crowd. But, you know, and that was more about strategy. But there have been times we've seen where a guy hits right around 100 pitches and whoop, he's out of the game. And
at least in our mind, I think we're very relieved that Garcia lobbied to go back out. He wanted to go back out, but that was a managerial decision by Mike Matheny. And I talked a little bit to O today about, you know, in Korea and Japan, how he's used there. To, you know, is it like here where rarely do you come in the middle of an inning with people on base? And a lot of times, like a manager will say, well, okay, if I let you go back out there, but if you get one guy on, I'm taking you out of a 1-0 game. Well, relievers and most of your closers start the 9th inning fresh, and they're not used to coming in with people on base. O said that in Korea and Japan, he pitched both ways. You know, he pitched multiple innings, and he pitched coming in with people on base. But just one of those strategies that you can't say neither one's right or wrong, and it all worked out perfectly for the Cardinals.
Not sure you would agree with this, but when you think about starters, let's say 30 years ago, it was a different way of pitching in which every pitch wasn't aired out at top velocity, and that allowed them to have a little bit left in the tank too.
Very good point. Very good point, Dan. And as you said, pitchers pitch to contact. They try to get you out early in the count. If they got 2 strikes, that's when they went after the strikeout. For an example, I've got a guy coming up for the 3rd time. He's hit 2 little ground balls. I've thrown fastballs down the way, sinkers, wherever you want. He's hit 2 little ground balls to second. Now, why am I not going? You know, I'm going to do the same thing if I have nobody on base. Now, maybe if I have 2 people on base, but I have kept my out pitch. He has not seen my out pitch today. So that's when I use my out pitch, you know, when the game's on the line. Where today, a hitter sees every pitch in the arsenal, you know, no matter what. You know, in the first at bat, maybe the leadoff hitter will see a starter's best pitch, you know, because they're trying to go pitch for pitch. where, like you said, you couldn't appreciate the really great pitchers until they got in a jam, because they were trying to get you to hit the ball right at somebody. And then when they got in a jam is when all of a sudden they broke out their best stuff and threw maximum effort. But that
a little
was
left in the tank.
Well, and remember too, you know, we're talking about an era where they did get paid for complete games.
That's a big factor.
Yeah.
3-2 the count here on Peralta.
And now, as you say, you know, guys go out there and pitch for pitch and maximum effort. And I guess that's where the injuries are being caused from.
3-2. It's a new way to get some of that sweat off the bill of your cap. Just like that.
If I did that, my head would fall off.
You just don't want to be to the right of Roberto Hernandez when he does that.
Very true. Middle infield sneaking up from behind.
Shades of Esteban Yan
Oh,
right
boy.
now.
Nobody could sweat like he could.
No. Hit up the middle, base hit. Here comes Moss. No throw by Inciarte, and Peralta gets the Cardinals on the board to make it 4-1 Atlanta.
He's been a 500 hitter against his teammate, and he continues to be a 500 hitter. He's 1 for 2 tonight. He gets the RBI. He's now 6 for 12 off of Hernandez. And just beyond the reach of Ibar. 15th RBI for Peralta, who's really just still trying to get on track after having 2 long stints on the disabled list. It's the 3rd hit and the first time we've had 2 hits in an inning.
So 1 out runner at first, runner goes, and Yachty pulls it foul. Ooh.
Hammer.
Chris Maloney, hopefully he's all right.
He's not gonna charge line drives. Hammer,
You got to let those go.
yeah, you know, those days are long gone. And remember, you had a glove at one time. A little upset he didn't catch it.
Here's an 0-1.
They get bad here for Yachty. The career doubles leader here at Busch Stadium. Be a perfect time to get his 4th home run or another double.
He's 2 shy of 14th all-time in Cardinals history in RBIs, to tie him with Willie McGee. Pulled the string. Good changeup. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And when you saw the Hyundai pitch arsenal from Hernandez, it's fastball, slider, changeup. The fastball and slider are 2 power pitches. Hitters like to go up there and know, well, everything's going to be hard. So in order for Hernandez to neutralize, and remember, he was a 19-game winner for Cleveland back in 2007, that changeup has to be a good pitch to get him off the hard stuff.
Never saw a guy sweat like Esteban Yan.
Nope.
Not even close.
Hernandez is not even in the same league. You got to drop every now and then. Comes off the bill of his hat, but there's a waterfall.
Inside to Yachty. I'd hate to see what it would look like maybe on a 95-degree Sunday afternoon here at Busch Stadium. This is a pretty nice night.
Yeah. I mean, it is humid. Beautiful day today again in St. Louis. A little break from the triple digits that we're accustomed to.
Two balls, 2 strikes with 1 out and a runner at first. Little chopper slowly hit foul. Molina grounded back to Hernandez, first time up.
He's done a good job keeping guys off balance.
Live look outside Busch Stadium. Clark Street every Friday night.
Hard to look at that, and it's hard to realize there's 44,000 just to the left.
Hit the other way. That ball is slicing fair into the corner. Peralta digging for third. He's held up there, and the tying run will come to the plate in the form of Jed Jerko. It's another double for Yadier Molina.
That's his 131st double here at Busch Stadium 3. That's the all-time record. Pitch down and away. He is so good at going to the opposite field, taking that pitch, using his hands to perfection inside the ball and shooting it down the right field corner. And now we got to come up with a big hit from Jerko. His 25th double this year.
Jed Jerko is 0 for his last 12. He'd love to bust out right here. Went after that first pitch as he tapped it foul. Only 1 out. Runners at second and third. Grounded to Jace Peterson, the second baseman of the Braves, his first time up. Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Most extra base hits in the National League. That's updated. 381 for St. Louis. Jerko with a fly ball. Right field. Markakis will make the catch. Runner will tag up. That's Johnny Peralta, and that cuts a lead to 4-2. RBI number 34 for Jerko.
Talk about Markakis with 100 outfield assists, second most of any active player, and does the right thing by throwing to third base. Keep Yachty out at second. You have no chance of getting the runner at home.
Here's Tommy Pham, grounded out to third. Pitcher spot on deck. The Braves are on pace for 104 losses, and they could be the X factor for many teams looking at the playoffs right now. Including tonight, 34 of their final 53 games are against contending teams, and that includes 13 left with the Washington Nationals. Left-hander throwing in the pen. Braves did make a trade. Hunter Cervenka, last night we saw him pitch in the game, was traded to Miami. They only had Mike Dunn in their bullpen, so they pick up Cervenka, and the Braves acquire a left-handed starter and a shortstop from Class A of the Marlins. Both were in the top 25 in terms of the prospect list for Miami.
Yeah, the little outfielder's a speedster, bunch of stolen bases, but
here's a 1-1.
It's a pretty good haul for a guy you sign as a 6-year minor league free agent.
Archimedes Caminero was traded in the last 24 hours. Hard throwing right-hander of Pittsburgh. He goes to Seattle. And Tim Lincecum was designated for assignment today by the Angels. Here's a 2-1 pitch.
Bam's got a little 3-game hitting streak, 5 for 10 with a home run during that time. He did pinch hit last night and walked. But he could come through right here. Big gap out in left center. Bam could turn on the pitch here. Plug that gap easily.
3-1 pitch. Good changeup.
Sometimes you get a veteran pitcher like Hernandez, and he'll have more success at this level than he would at the minor leagues, because the minor leaguers don't know they were set up and supposed to swing through a pitch.
Little check swing and a foul ball. Also, the Yankees within the hour have announced that tomorrow morning they will hold a press conference with Alex Rodriguez, Brian Cashman, their GM, manager Joe Girardi.
They might just buy him out.
Could be that. Could be retirement, released. Who knows? He has 1 year left on his deal. 3-2 again. Still alive. A-Rod is hitting .204 with 9 home runs.
He's got a piece of it right there. One thing, Hernandez, you can see, really has been able to keep the ball at the bottom of the strike zone. A lot of pitches on corners.
Three-two pitch. Bam. In the air. Foul territory. And it is playable for Eric Ibar. Makes the catch. Cardinals pick up 2. They get on the board. We head to inning number 5 on a beautiful night here at Busch Stadium. Brandon Moss scores the first run for St. Louis. Peralta would follow. 4-2 Atlanta. Freddie Freeman, Matt Kemp for the Braves. Here in the top of inning number 5, showing bunt and takes a ball. Ibar reached on an air back in the first, singled and scored in the third. A 4-2 lead for the Atlanta Braves. Alex Rodriguez, we mentioned, hitting .204. He has started only one game since July 22nd. He's now 41. And he's had 696 career home runs. His next $6 million milestone triggered bonus is for tying Babe Ruth at 714. Back to Martinez. Follow Cardinals baseball with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment. Game Day Live, all the video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet.
Remember that Whitey Herzog saying the toughest thing about managing is a superstar at the end of their career. Some go gracefully, some stay too long.
He was primarily being used only against left-handed pitching, and even recently within the last week, Joe Girardi not using him in those situations. That drops in for a base hit for Freeman, who has a 3-run homer and a walk, on base for the 3rd time. One of the big hits in this game was back in the 3rd, and a long, and I mean long, home run off the bat of Freeman.
I think that's the longest one we've seen to dead center field.
I agree.
That followed base hits by Inciarte and Ibar for a 3-run bomb. Really the difference in this 4-2 game right now.
Brings in Kemp. Struck out with the bases loaded, nobody out in the 1st, and also grounded out to short.
Cardinals have pitched him very tough in the first 2 games.
Last mid-season deal that the Braves picked up a 20 home run man in that year was Fred McGriff, 1993. And McGriff finished his career 7 shy of 500 home runs.
Were you with me that night? That was the night of the fire.
I was not, but
I
remember
the press box. I was throwing BP back then, and all of a sudden in the Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, the old ballpark there, they had a Sterno can that was in maybe the general manager's booth right off the press box area, and somehow caught the drapes on fire, and that fire just spread through the press box. We could not televise that game that night, but they did play it. They did it on radio, but fire department came there, had to put this thing out, but we were hearing these tremendous booms, and they said it was the steel girders that were catching on fire and exploding. But that was kind of the memorable night after that trade of Fred McGriff, and what a great player he was for the Braves.
At the time, it was talked about as being a borderline Hall of Famer. Cardinals Care 6K run presented by Anthem on Sunday, September 18th. Start at the Stan the Man statue, run through downtown St. Louis, finish on the field at Busch Stadium. For more info and to sign up, head to Cardinals.com/6K. Pitch, 1 ball, 1 strike.
81 pitches, so hopefully he can get through this inning and at least 1 more.
2 outs and a runner at first. Markakis pops 1 foul.
He is due up first for the Cardinals, but he has 10 hits on the season. He had 11 through his career coming into this season.
I would think there is no chance that Alex Rodriguez makes it to the Hall of Fame. None.
Unless they drastically change what appears to be the the writers' feelings on PEDs. And
well, you have players that never were implicated, but innuendo is there that they used that aren't in. Now you got a guy that has admitted it, and it's happened a couple of times. I don't think there's any way. Base hit into right.
How about Palmeiro?
No chance.
I mean, here's a kid that 3,000 hits and 500 home runs, which were automatic entrants, and he's not in. So there's one of your test cases right there.
Here's Adonis Garcia, rounded out to first, hit a soft liner to first, 0 for 2. Runners at first and second. No activity in the Cardinals pen. Pitch number 84, and a good one.
Did Rosenthal get the injection with the platelets? You know, remember a couple years ago that was borderline taboo. Now it's recognized as a legitimate treatment. Some people believe that next 20, 30 years, everyone's going to be taking some form of growth hormones as just natural, like taking vitamins. Not yet.
1-2 the count. I think what's going to be interesting is the new CBA, and if there are harsher penalties to those that do have a PED penalty. 1-2 pitch is hit out of play. Some of the players have come out publicly and stated they want harsher penalties for those that are caught.
Well, if you're playing legally and you're, a record holder, by all means you want to make sure everybody knows that you're doing it legitimately.
Pitch taken inside.
I'm not naive enough to think that the game is clean yet. It's much better than where it was, but still.
Two pitch. Pretty good battle here with Garcia.
This battle here with 2 outs may determine whether his night is through after this inning.
Fastball and a fly ball deep right. Piscotty is back. He'll look up and it's gone. Opposite field home run. Garcia. And that is the second 3-run homer allowed by Martinez tonight.
And we said he came in with just allowing 5 extra base hits to a right-handed batter. And Garcia hits the second home run. There's 2 and 4 doubles against him.
This isn't a cheap one when you do this against Carlos Martinez and take it the other way.
Now look how far it's set up outside, and Yachty's glove goes up and over the middle of the plate, just missing location, but still, as you said, it's a long way for a right-handed batter.
Adds up to a 7-2 Atlanta lead. 0-2 the count on Jace Peterson, who has now reached base safely in his last 13 games with a walk tonight, and Manus getting loose.
See Seth getting loose. Peterson came over from San Diego. Remember, he had a game in spring training where he just offensively and defensively was impressive.
2 strikeouts in the inning, 5 tonight, but a pair of 3-run homers for the Braves. Frozen strawberry lemonade. It's back and it's only available at McDonald's. With Martinez heading back down into the clubhouse, maybe his night is through, and it looks like it will be because Colton Wong is your pinch hitter.
And mentioned it, 2 3-run home runs does in Carlos Martinez. Only 6 or 7 hits allowed, but 3 hits. 2 hits in front of the 2 3-run home runs.
And Wong drives it out to deep right field. This ball is gone. Pinch hit home run, Colton Wong, and the Cardinals have 12 of those this year.
They're going after the major league record, Danny. I believe the major league record is 14. Charge out of this big crowd. Colton Wong needed that, didn't he?
No doubt.
Nice easy swing right there, right into the Cardinal bullpen. This game's long from over.
See if Brian Snitker wants to get Hernandez through 5 and a chance at a win. It's 7-3. Atlanta on top. They did have activity in their pen an inning ago. Last 7 batters, 4 have reached. 2 singles, a double, and now a home run. 1-2 the count on Matt Carpenter. Braves have had all kinds of issues against the Cardinals. They've dropped 13 of their last 20 against St. Louis. And 8 of 11 here at Busch Stadium. Shift on for Carpenter. 1-2 pitch. Fly ball hit the other way. Matt Kemp is over, and he'll make the catch. First out here in the bottom of the 5th.
Remember in the 70s when the Cardinals were in the National League East and the Atlanta Braves were in the National League West.
Made a lot of sense.
Yeah,
huh?
it really did. But you know, normally you would have to outslug them. Remember one time they had Hank Aaron, Dusty Baker, Davey Johnson, and Darrell Evans. All hit 40 home runs.
It's pretty good pop.
Oh yeah.
Then they were defined by their pitching.
In the 90s, you know, when they just took over baseball and dominated. And the Cardinals have pretty much done that in the 2000s.
You know, for the better part of that great run, they had 3 Hall of Famers in the rotation, only 1 World Championship. That's the hard thing to imagine, especially at the time when you had a short series and you had to face those 3.
Well, you know what happened too, though, is opposing teams would make so much of it that, particularly with Glavine and Maddox, real pitch makers, you know, not hard throwers, finesse pitchers that could really make pitches. In the regular season, they would lull an umpire into calling pitches 3, 4, 5 inches outside. But everybody would say so much about it in postseason that they didn't get those same strikes. And when they had to pitch more in the strike zone, you know, they didn't have the same success.
After the last out that was made by Carpenter, Adam Olson told by Mike Matheny, go check on our second baseman. Let's make sure he's all right. Carpenter was just jogging down the first base line, a little bit slower than usual. Let's hope he's all right.
See, that's what's so bad, or what tricky with an oblique, is you can be patient, but it takes time to heal. You can really play kind of not max effort, but then you get back on the list, you're in the big leagues, and all of a sudden you try to do that everything a little quicker, and you have that tendency that maybe you re-injure yourself. So let's hope that's not the case, but something wasn't quite right that they didn't like.
And if that's the case, you can keep Colt Wong in this game, put him at second base.
You got to find out now, because you do have that opportunity, where you don't burn a guy like Wong, and if it happens next inning.
Two and 1 the count on Brandon Moss with 2 outs. 7-3 Atlanta. 2-2. That changeup, that off-speed pitch, has been an effective pitch here tonight.
Well, no doubt about it, and that's what he's selling it with, a great arm angle. And as I said, hitters love to know if guy's a fastball slider. They go, okay, 2 power pitches, not that much variance in difference. But if you can throw that changeup with the same release point, then you really throw off the timing.
There it is again. Little flare, foul territory, and a sliding catch by Garcia. His second in as many games in foul territory, with a terrific play. The shift was on for Moss, long way to go, and a terrific catch by Garcia. Cardinals pick up a home run by Colton Wong, and it's now 7-3 after 5. Home run, and Seth Maness is in to pitch. So Maness will go into Matt Carpenter's spot in the lineup. Tarchevi called to the pen. It's 7-3 Braves here in the top of the 6th.
Seth getting a little more frequent assignments and doing the job. It was so important to the Cardinals in recent years. Good power sinker, ground ball, and good to see him after, I had a little inflammation with his shoulder, to come back to the roster and pitching more effectively.
Nice play by Moss as he takes a hit away from Pierzynski playing near the line. Pierzynski the first out here in inning number 6. That brings in Hernandez. Braves have to be thrilled with this. He's still in this game, and he is 0 for 2.
You're right about that. Really didn't know what they were going to see or what they were going to get from him. what they expected to see this offense. 26th appearance for Seth. Always going to give up a few hits, but always gets those ground ball double plays.
So the Cardinals get their 12th pinch hit home run this year. And they're moving towards the all-time record, which is 14 pinch hit home runs. And a couple of months to go. The 0-2 pitch struck him out. So the first two have been retired here in the top of the 6th. Manus has looked a lot better here recently.
Yeah, and you know, he had to be sitting there tight-lipped, you know, patient, waiting for his turn, and when he started getting these assignments, he's been pitching like we know he can. And now he'll be used more frequently.
Here's Inciarte and strike one. He's 2 for 3 on the night. Slowly hit up the first base line. Manus makes the play to Moss. So a scoreless frame for Seth. We move to the bottom of the 6th. Atlanta on top. Live on your mobile device. Just head to your app store, download the free Fox Sports Go app, log in, stream the Cardinals wherever you go. Cardinals trailing the Atlanta Braves by the score of 7-3. It'll be Holiday, Peralta, and Molina. Roberto Hernandez, his Braves debut, and at least through 5.
Yeah, I'm thinking that this is going to be his last inning. He's at 88 pitches. The bullpen is active, so get him now.
And a strike to Holiday. Single to right center, grounded out to third.
De La Cruz did a nice job challenging hitters. Thought the Cardinals should have gotten more off of him, but they didn't. And now Hernandez. Well, we've talked about how he really has kept the ball down. So got 4 strikeouts. He's getting some ground ball outs, and
he's got a pretty good idea what he's doing.
He's battling.
You can see that. 1-1 pitch again, down.
Yeah, it doesn't have the stuff that he had 10 years ago, but you know, because of the knowledge and what he wants to do, he's been able to execute it pretty well. And as you said, with all the injuries they have to their pitching staff and trading away guys, they're trying to get some prospects to load up. He's doing a nice job.
Here's a 1-2. Pulled foul. That was the lefty Ian Kroll getting loose in the pen. And Jose Ramirez, the right-hander, we saw him in game 1 get that unique look at the bullpen. 1-2 the count, pitch count at 92.
See if we just can't get that bullpen door to stay open. Just revolving relievers. Revolving due to ineffectiveness.
If I told you that Greg Maddux was 11-14, Glavine 14-16 in postseason play, would that surprise you?
No. And that's kind of what I'm saying, is because they earned the wider strike zone, but opposing managers and players would make such a big issue in postseason, where you had all the scrutiny. They accentuated it, and so the umpires had a tighter strike zone.
There's a base hit. 2-hit night for Holiday.
Like John Smoltz was a power guy, so he could get by with that.
15-4, John Smoltz.
Yeah.
Looks like that'll be it for Roberto Hernandez. What's on Tap is presented by Budweiser. Adam Wainwright getting the call for St. Louis, and will come your way at 12:30 with the pregame show. Slow walk by Brian Snitker, the interim manager of the Atlanta Braves, and he's going to go with Jose Ramirez, who'd been throwing in the pen. The ballpark, they have some great Cardinals packages for you. You can go online to find out more at HiltonSt.Louis.com or give them a call at 421-1776. Tell you what, Tim Garcia is on his game once again up here in the booth. Apparently we just woke him up. Leadoff base hit by Holiday brings in Johnny Peralta. One moon to another. The great Jim Jackson there on the left. So Peralta digs in, who is 1 for 2. Base hit to center, picked up an RBI. And this is the hard throwing Jose Ramirez, and this crowd trying to come alive. 44,000 plus. That's to the backstop. And advancing it is Holiday to second base.
High pitch, but we'll see if called a wild pitch or pass ball. Just took off, and you know, you're a catcher, you're assuming the ball is going to be down low in the strike zone, and so it's called the wild pitch. Make it hurt.
.30 pitch, taken for a strike. Relief losses, and this is why you have hope if you're a Cardinals fan. Atlanta with 22 of those this year, 2 back of Cincinnati. Historically bad first half. A check swing fouled back.
It's got off to a terrible start, and then they have won the last 2 series, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Trying to tie this 3-game set at 1 each, but there's still a lot of game left.
.3-2 pitch into center, hard hit to Inciarte, and Holiday stays put. That ball was smoked.
Yeah, sometimes you'll hit a ball that'll be a line drive out that is just as hard, if not harder, than a home run. But just didn't get some elevation there. Yachty got a big double his last time up. We'll let him trade places with Holiday, won't we?
Oh, yeah.
To run fourth, the Cardinals had 3 hits. You just have to bunch some hits, walks, errors.
Strike to Molina.
I was thinking a guy like this, Molina, would have some success against him. He is 1 for 1.
Talked about it the other day. We were in New York and looking at some of the numbers. You can really get into the numbers of the game of baseball, obviously, and one of the things was pitches at 95 miles an hour or above. Yadier Molina, one of the best in baseball in terms of average against those pitches.
Now, if it's a 95 and above upstairs like that one, you're not going to do well. But if you get it down in the strike zone, Yadi's so good at making contact.
0-2. Serves it into right, backing up Markakis to make the catch. Holiday will tag up from second to third.
Another hard hit ball, but right at a fielder.
Jerko with an RBI back in inning number 4, and he grounded out to second sharply. He is just about set to bust out as he is hitless in his last 12 plate appearances. And again, a very good fastball hitter.
Yeah, and we'll be surprised if he sees a fastball here, particularly early in the count. Jerko loves to jump on a first pitch fastball. Probably a lot of sliders. There's one.
Here's a 1-0 pitch, big gap in left center. 2-0. Tommy Pham on deck. And then we'll see Colton Wong, who is in the 9th spot in this lineup. Cardinals trying to come back, and also will hopefully get some word on Matt Carpenter. Left this game after flying out to left, and at the time didn't seem to be all that serious, but you just don't know with those side injuries, those oblique injuries, as he was lifted in the game.
And hopefully just for precautionary reasons. And Said it was an opportune time for Wong to stay in after hitting a pinch hit home run.
3-1 the count on Jed Jerko. And he looks at a ball that Brzezinski, thankful that didn't head to the backstop. So it brings in Tommy Pham. When Pham gets a base hit lately, they've gone for extra bases.
Yeah, ball has a tendency to jump off his bat. Tommy Pham has shown some of those extra base, so he's not getting as many fastballs as he did when he first came up.
Over 2 tonight. First pitch taken high.
There's a fastball there, but up out of the strike zone.
Well, you never know. You may just get to Manus' spot. Because of that, the Cardinals will get a little activity out there in their pen. Here's a 1-0. 2-0.
We saw last night the Cardinals received 7 walks from Braves pitching. So make sure you're disciplined, you're swinging at strikes.
Two-0 pitch. 3-0.
Aiming that fastball there.
Well, you would have to think that Kroll would come in to face Colton Wong if we get there. Lefty's been up twice and is hot and ready. 3-0 pitch to Pham. There's a strike. 3-1.
Snitker, 40 years in the Braves organization. He has definitely earned his dues.
That's taken low, and the bases are loaded. That'll be it, you would have to assume, for Ramirez, as he got the first 2 hard hit balls, now back-to-back walks, and here comes a lefty Kroll to face Colton Wong. Wong will represent the tying run, and this is our Chevy Cole to the pen. He has already homered here tonight. Long way to go in this one. To face Colton Wong, who is homered here tonight. That was back in the 5th as a pinch hitter for Carlos Martinez. The 12th pinch hit home run for the Cardinals. here in 2016. And now this crowd comes alive. Couple of grand slams for Colton Wong, 2 for 7 with the Sex Jam this year.
They got this lefty from the Tigers in the Maben deal. Has allowed 1 home run to a lefty. That was Joey Votto.
First pitch taken low for a ball. BJC Healthcare difference maker. Cardinals have set the all-time record for pinch hit home runs and adding to that tonight. 1-0 the count on Wong. Usually he'll do something the rest of the game after setting the tone early. Took a good rip. Cardinals on their bench, it's 4 left-handed bats, 1 righty. So if you're wondering why not counter with a righty, and then you could put Greg Garcia at second base or Jerko, move him, put Garcia at third. Rosario's your backup catcher, so you've got the lefties that'll be your pinch hitters tonight.
And all these pinch hitters have done a great job. You know, Colton's pinch hit home run stayed in the game. But if you look at what Colton has done, he's now 4 for 4 in his last 4 pinch hit appearances, and on the season he's 6 for 13. He just goes right along with everybody else how well they've swung the bat in the pinch. And Adams on deck has been one of the best too.
1 ball, 2 strikes, bases loaded. 2-2.
And Kroll, 6'1", 205, 25 years of age. He's retired 10 of the last 11 batters he's faced. Lefties have been hitting him at a 229 clip.
The 2-2. Wong with a little fly ball out to shallow left. This ball may drop, and it does foul. Garcia, that's his kind of plays we've seen the last couple of nights.
Well, I was going to say that last one he caught in foul territory down the line had to make Terry Pendleton proud.
Yeah.
Remember how good Terry Pendleton was over the shoulder going down in Old Busch Stadium. Terry, first base coach for the Atlanta Braves. There you see him. One of our favorites.
What a good player. Former MVP. 2-2 the count. Bases loaded. 2 outs. Wong, the tying run at the plate here in the bottom of the 6th. Spoiled that pitch. Tense moment in this game for Brian Snitker and Mike Matheny.
2 former catchers, one every day at the big league level.
2-2 is a ground ball that's hit to second, and the Cardinals will strand the bases loaded. Kroll does the job. 7-3, Braves on top. salute the career of Hall of Fame player Bob Gibson. That day, 30,000 fans 16 and older receive a Bob Gibson red jacket statue to add to their collection, courtesy of Scott Credit Union. And get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. See, that's how you occupy the kids if you come to the ballpark. You got to bring your.
I wonder if he's reading Brian Jordan book there.
Maybe so. That's what Brian does. He writes those children's books. Second inning of work now for Seth Maness.
Brian had a group here from a couple different school districts in Missouri.
That's pretty cool. They got that book from your collection. His Ibar is the first out. I don't even get anything back from you. Come on.
I was worried. I'm going to go home and check my stash.
Seeing if you're paying any attention.
I was. Fastball, which is a sinker. Changeup's very important for him. Keep him off balance.
I put my shield up. I was ready for it. I knew it was coming back at me.
Oh, Danny. Been around too long for that.
I remember one night we were arguing whether or not it was a full moon. Remember that?
I've killed a few brain cells, over the years.
Well, you're not the only one.
Where were we?
2-1 the count here on Freddie Freeman. Launched a home run back in the third.
You talk about a full moon, and you think about Mike Shannon, our great buddy, and now he looked up at the full moon at Shea Stadium, told everybody, I wish you could see it back home.
It's the fourth time that Freeman has been on base as Maness asks where that pitch was. Also remember, right before I was to be married, you decided that you would go to the truck and work with our producer, Brian McCann. Let me finish my story now, Matt.
You said something and didn't.
I said if we had a walk-off home run by the pitcher, and I don't know who it was that night, I'd shave my head. And of course, you went in then and cut up the tape to make it sound like if anybody hit a walk-off home run, I'd shave my head.
Which we got one.
And my mother-in-law started having heart issues that night. Thanks to you, Al.
All I know is that you didn't follow through on what you said.
That's not true, Al.
We had the tape.
Yeah. Here's a 1-1. Kemp, a ground ball hit left side. Out at second, the turn, and out at first. They do turn two. What a turn by Colton Wong. I can't believe you just said if they turned a double play, you'd shave your head. That is amazing. Wow. What a turn. That ends the inning. I didn't think they had any chance to get Kemp, and it's 7-3. Time to stretch. This is our Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Greg Garcia is going to pinch hit for Manus. He's been a good pinch hitter. 346 with runners in scoring position, but I mean he's 15 for 43, 349 average with 2 home runs in his career as a pinch hitter.
Ground ball to Freeman. 1 pitch, 1 out. That's how we start the bottom of the 7th. Brings in Piscotty with Moss to follow.
Cole got the final out with the bases loaded in the 6th. Start off here in the 7th. Scotty really first prolonged time we've seen him have a little trouble in road trip, and then first 2 games this series. He'll work it out and he'll figure it out.
First pitch is taken for a ball. So Kroll pitching here into the 7th after he got Colton Wong to round out with the bases loaded to end the 6th. Cardinals have Zach Duke getting loose in their pen. Brian Snitker, the manager of the Braves, is from Decatur, Illinois. As Al mentioned, he's been with Atlanta for a number of years. Variety of roles. Joined the Braves as a player in 1977.
Been up the big leagues in a couple different capacities as a coach. Been managed 20 years in the minor leagues. Good guy.
There's a book that was recently written, and I say recently, within the last 5 years, called One Shot at Forever. Look back at a high school team from 1971. And it's very much like the movie Hoosiers, if you've ever seen that with basketball. Right. Gene Hackman. So it follows the team all season long in a long shot, and it's a really good book. And Brian Snitker is the high school catcher on that team that's profiled in that book.
As a matter of fact, last night he had a lot of his high school buddies were in attendance here. He went to Mattoon High School, and his coach Lynn Sweet was also with the guys, and saying he uses a lot of quotes and a lot of different things that he learned from his high school coach. Took it right into professional baseball, and some of the best advice he's been able to give some young players.
I would think a guy like that in this type of situation might be perfect. You know, dealing with especially young players.
Yeah. And they're going to be pretty much a young player going into their new stadium. I don't think they're going to be as further along as they hope to. And it doesn't look like there's a great free agent class. So it's not like you can buy some free agents to kind of help you out, but they're willing to trade just about anybody to come up with some prospects. Problem is most of them are real young.
Here's an 0-2 pitch and a strikeout of Moss. So we head to the 8th. That's one of the veterans that'll be back next year, Matt Kemp. 504 feet. What, you couldn't get it to 510? That is a mammoth blast by Stanton. What would he have done at Coors Field, let's say 15 years ago, before the humidor?
Or how about Mile High Stadium?
Yeah.
Where actually the left center field power alley was about 368.
It's amazing.
And the ball would fly there. They say, you know, it only travels about a little less than 10% more at that altitude than it does at sea level.
You buy that?
Yep.
You do.
And you know what a lot of people don't realize.
I mean, you pitched there, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see, I ended my career there because I realized that the dream was over. There were times a shortstop would go back on a high pop-up and it would go out in left field. But I was going to say the second highest altitude playing surface is in Atlanta.
Nick Markakis with a base hit off of Zach Duke. Duke is the third pitcher used by the Cardinals tonight.
Atlanta Fulton County Stadium was called the launching pad. Because they had some guys that could hit it too. You see Duke, he's had 7 consecutive scoreless appearances, 2 with the Cardinals. He was leading the American League appearances when he was traded from the White Sox to St. Louis. And he's got a contract for next year also. So
that seems to be the way that John Mozeliak deals. You know, it's not only for the now, but also club control of that player. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Garcia. We'll see Duke do that. Change the arm angles, throw sidearm.
Well, we saw an awful lot of Zach Duke early in his career when he was a starter with the Pirates, and by his own admission he failed. It was 2013 pitching in AAA for the Reds when he decided to start dropping down, and really has resurrected his career and done a nice job as a reliever.
It's amazing what guys will do to stay in the game, especially pitchers, and how they'll try to learn another pitch, drop down, maybe throw sidearm, some go submarine, and
it's pretty good.
That's a ball to Garcia.
Pretty good incentive to keep on playing.
First and the 15th would do that for you. Looked to be a couple of good pitches there to Garcia. Didn't get the call, and now with 2 on, it brings in Jace Peterson.
I mentioned that Peterson broke with a ball club and just hit 188 beginning of the season. He got sent down. Really did not hit even at AAA, but they had to bring him back up for out of necessity, and he's hit about 290 since his return. Mentioned how he's got a good high on base percentage.
Two and out.
Will Porter, the former Houston Astros manager, is the third base coach, and he was flashing his sign. So with the 2-0 count here, you're not sure if the bunt's still on.
3-0.
Like you're ready to swing on that one.
So Duke making his home debut tonight, making it a little tougher on himself.
Had a little trouble in his Cardinal debut on the road in Cincinnati, throwing strikes. And I know you have thought several of them were good pitches.
Here's a 3-1 pitch. Tapped foul. Molina wants to talk about this pitch. Cardinals have turned to double play tonight. Ball game started with Carlos Martinez. 5 innings, 7 runs on 7 hits. Struck out 5, walked 2, but gave up a pair of 3-run homers. Seth Maness, good work out of the pen. 2 scoreless innings. And now Zach Duke.
I see Colton Wong always come in when they have that conference. I'm not sure I would like that, but the reason he comes in case they change the pitches so he can alert his shortstop.
3-2 pitch. Here's a 3-2, and he struck him out. Comes back to get him.
Pitcher's been all over the place there, but he gets up and away for the strikeout. You have felt that he's been squeezed.
Indeed. So first and second, and here is A.J. Pierzynski. 0 for 3 tonight. A couple of ground outs. He's also flied out. There's your ground ball. Out at second. The turn. Double play. 5-4-3. Is brought to you by Bud Light. Raise 1-2 right now. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. (7-3) our score as we move to the home half of the 8th. Holiday will lead it off against Cabrera. This is our Chevy Colt to the pen. Mauricio Cabrera.
Here's the hard thrower. Been averaging just under 101, 100.8 miles per hour with the fastball. Has registered a pitch this season at 103.8 according to MLB Statcast.
And now you have Holiday, who leads it off. Couple of hits from Matt tonight. First pitch, a strike at 99. Hernandez pitched into the 6th, did not record an out in his Braves debut. He has a chance, though, at picking up a win. Ramirez 2/3 of an inning. Kroll an inning and a third. Well, if he can do that, mix in the fastball with that type of breaking pitch, he's going to be tough to hit.
We saw him We saw him yesterday, and he never threw a pitch under 100. So his first one was 99, and now you're seeing that good breaking ball. He said really couldn't really throw strikes last year, but seeing much better command.
Hung that one, and a base hit into center field for Holiday.
Almost doing you a favor by throwing the breaking ball, isn't he?
A 3-hit night for Matt Holiday.
Well, Matt leads the ball club in 3-hit games. He's inching closer and closer to 2,000 hits.
Here is Peralta. Cardinals down by 4 runs. They've been out hit 8-7. Ground ball pulled foul. You know, I've been thinking about just all these hard throwers in the game of baseball, in particular with relievers. And maybe just common sense. The dimensions of the game have not changed in terms of the rubber to home plate, but certainly the players are. They are bigger, they're stronger, way stronger.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
you had Country Strong, but
yeah,
you know,
a few of those
the
guys,
farm boys and stuff that way, but
now it's just prevalent.
Yeah, I mean they're just, you know, I mean, you go down near the cage and you see the guys and you go, you know, we're just middle infielders now.
Right. Nice play by Brzezinski on the pick.
By the way, that was the Holiday's 10th 3-hit game this year.
2 balls, 1 strike. Holiday, the runner at first base. And the 2-1 to Johnny Peralta. Base hit into right. These guys at this level are so good. You know you're getting the fastball. Just center it up.
Yeah, and don't try to do too much for it. You know, you just, like you said, center the ball, and the ball it'll carry. If it's hit in the right direction, but here he's just trying to make contact. Shoots it to the right side.
Cardinals trying to make this interesting late. It'll be Matt Adams off the bench, pinch hitter. Cardinals have a pinch hit home run. And that was Colton Long back in the 5th. So Adams is pinch hitting for Yadier Molina.
Matt Adams tied for 5th in the major leagues with his 9 pinch hits. He's got 2 pinch hit home runs this year. A .391 average, 9 for 23.
Here's the 0-1. Ripped into right field. That ball is down all the way to the wall. Holiday will score. Peralta held at third. And again, the tying run comes to the plate. What a job Matt Adams has done as a pinch hitter this year.
Well, he's been outstanding, as we said. He's got 6 career pinch hit home runs, but that's his 10th pinch hit. He's also, it's his 9th RBI as a pinch hitter, and the Cardinals are right back in this ball game. Vegas with a good throwing arm. Got 3 solid base hits here, 1 run already in, and nobody out. Churko can turn on a fastball. Just think, Danny, we were talking about all these hard throwers that come out of there. Remember when when the Braves had lost my train of thought, but he's change up after change up after change up. My buddy. You throw that change up in there, and
now
I feel dumb. I can't. Sat next to him for 3 years on all the flights for the Atlanta Braves. He was a closer before I got there, and should have been the closer when I was there, and became the closer again.
Here's a 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike on Jerko. And pitch at 102. So once again, it may be a very good matchup here for Jed Jerko. Terrific fastball hitter.
Times you throw that fastball that hard, it just kind of straightens out.
Jerko with a fly ball.
And then breaking ball.
Shallow left center. The catch is made. A strong throw to the plate.
Gene Garber. But you could put, a guy that would throw
and you think I don't help you out.
Change-up. You help me out all the time. Gene Garber, I just feel embarrassed that I couldn't remember him. Such a good guy. There you saw those outfield arms and the Cardinals' respect for Markakis, Inciarte, Brancourt that's on the bench.
One out, second and third, Tommy Pham. Fastball taken low. Tommy represents the tying run. It's 7-4 Atlanta here in the bottom of the 8th.
Old-fashioned hard ball.
The 1-1 pitch to Pham. Check swing. And he went 1-2. It's a big, big call there.
Wow. Sure didn't look like he went around, but a lot of times you see the replay, it'll look like it.
Close.
Real close. Could have gone either way, and unfortunately it went for the Braves.
Here's a 1-2. Broken bat lined into the seats. Oh, goodness. Oh, boy. That one caught a fan. Well, he throws 100. And coming off the bat, it might even be harder than that. Oh, man. Immediately, they called for a medical attention for that fan. Goodness.
Players can't help watch, but they're also trying to warn fans that, hey, another pitch is coming, so watch the action on the field.
Here's a 1-2. Much of the attention inside the Cardinals dugout is not on the field, it's on the fan. We understand it did catch an older gentleman up near his head, so let's hope he's going to be all right. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 on. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. The next 2, Tommy Pham. The pitch at 100.
100 up and in. Supposed to be away.
3-2 pitch to Pham. Hit to second. Backhanded by Peterson. Gets up and out at first. And the Cardinals will take a look at this as a run scores. To the naked eye, I thought he was safe.
I agree. And not even sure if Freeman kept his foot on the base too, but they definitely want this one to be reviewed.
Boy, that's close.
Close, but of course I see it with my heart and I say he's safe. Pham thought he was safe. Looked like Billy Miller thought he was safe.
Regardless, great play by Peterson. That saved one run from scoring. And he may have gotten the second out in the inning. We'll find out. The reaction of the fans, they're showing that on the video board here at the ballpark. I had a nice conversation with a fan talking about replay, and you know, probably 8 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10, we know exactly what they're looking at. But there are times, like earlier in tonight's game, when you saw the confusion on the replay, it looked to be pretty clear cut. It was a safer out call, but then you saw, you know, a bunch of conversation going back and forth, and you just wonder why.
Yeah.
And that's the only part about replay. I just wish the umpires would address the crowd so we know for sure and for certain what they're looking at.
Yeah, and
this case, though, it's clear looking at the play at first base.
And of course, when the ball hits the back of the glove. This is a big play in this game.
Oh, man.
Could be one out and a tie and run.
Sometimes you have a play that is so close that if it's a play like this, it's the back of the glove. So they may stick with the call on the field sometimes if it's too tough to overturn.
There, from that view, you really can't see when his foot truly does hit the bag. And the same token, we're really kind of guessing when it hits the back of the glove too.
To an extent, you are.
And you know, it's our understanding too that there are more. A lot of times, there's more video or more camera angles than what we have to show you.
Here we go. We'll get the call here.
Just almost have to assume just not enough to overturn it.
That was my point. You know, you get to those points where you look at it and you're sitting there looking at the video going, well, it could go this way, that way. We stick with the call on the field.
Nice
big call.
Nice play by Peterson, as you said. A lot of second basemen wouldn't have got to that ball. And then throw out a speedy runner at first too.
For instance, Al, I think if he would have been called safe on the field, he's safe on the replay if the Braves would have challenged.
Right.
Very tough to tell. It is an RBI for Tommy Pham, and the boos rain down on this umpiring crew. Colton Wong looks at strike one. They'll continue to boo.
And Freeman, the first baseman, really guarding the line. The right-hander thrower, so his glove is protecting the foul territory.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Off speed delivery, 0-2 the count on Wong, who is homered tonight back in inning number 5. Came in as a pinch hitter for Carlos Martinez, then stayed in the game. The 0-2 pitch to Wong. Struck him out. 7-5 Atlanta. Catcher, he comes in for Yadier Molina. Had to wonder why you would pinch hit for Molina. We get a reason. Right hand contusion is the official word from the Cardinals. So Molina out, Rosario in to catch, and the new pitcher is Jonathan Broxton in our Chevy Cole to the pen.
Jonathan appearing for the 47th time. Keep this a 2-run deficit. Give yourself a chance.
First pitch popped back and foul. The Cardinals have one available bench player who will lead off in the bottom of the ninth. That's Jeremy Hazelbaker, then Piscotty and Moss. Matt Adams stays in the game at first base. Piscotty in center. Brandon Moss moves to right field. 0-1 pitch. 0-2. Cardinals have got pretty good relief work tonight. 5 innings out of Martinez, 2 out of Manus, scoreless 8th by Zach Duke.
Told you that Chase Darno is hitting here.
Soft liner over Wong and into right center field.
As a band, he's a lead singer, and he told me that his mother was an opera singer, and so he and his brother would practice in the car when they were driving with their mother. He actually said his brother Travis would do the female voices, I would do the male voices, and he said my brother actually could hit some notes higher than his mother could.
Is that right?
Yeah. He's got a six-piece band, and
then he hit the age of 13 and things changed.
Yeah. I'm sure if Travis appreciates all that info.
No throw by Rosario, stolen base for Darno. At the plate, Ender, Inciarte, so Broxton with a runner at second, along with Rosario changing up the signs. Here's a 1-0 pitch. 7-5 lead for the Braves. Showing bunt. Takes ball 2.
Ciarte, another multi-hit game during his hitting streak, and it's reached 17 now. At one point he had 5 straight multi-hit games during the streak, and he's hit in 23 of his last 24 games in 17 straight.
The 2-0 pitch. In the air out to deep right field. It's well hit. And it's a 2-run homer. Ender Inciarte. 3rd hit of the night. It's another Braves home run.
3rd home run. All 3 of them multi-run home runs. 2 3-run bombs and a 2-run bomb. His 2nd home run of the year, and it was a no-doubter.
Many of the folks start to head for the exits here at Busch Stadium. Inciarte is red hot. Here's Eric Ibar. Foul back. It's back to a 4-run Braves lead.
Ibar extended his hitting streak to 11 games.
You know, we didn't see him all that much, but I always felt that Inciarte was a good player in Arizona.
Oh, I agree. Of course, they had a few to choose from, didn't they? And Peralta got hurt right before opening day.
0-2 the count.
Middle of the ball game, but Colorado is helping the Cardinals in the wild card as they lead 7-3 over Miami, 6th inning. Dodgers won today at Boston 3-0, so they're the #1 wild card. And Miami and the Cardinals were tied for 2nd.
Swing and a miss. Ibar strikes out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. 1 out, nobody on. 9-5 Atlanta. Along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well. Freddie Freeman with one of those 3 home runs hit by the Braves today. A moonshot to center field. Two for 2 on the night. And the 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Two-0 pitch to Freeman. That's hit down the right field line. Hooking. Foul. Well, you're trying to get an update, I'm sure, if you're Mike Matheny from the medical team on both Matt Carpenter and Yadier Molina. Hit sharply up the middle. Another hard hit ball. This one off the bat of Freeman.
Faced 5 times with his 3 hits and 2 walks.
So here's what happened with Matt Carpenter. Looked to be just a routine fly ball that was hit to left. You see him grimace there going down the line.
Normally see him hustle all the time and head down to the clubhouse, and this could be a very costly loss for the Cardinals. But there's still time to come back.
Matt Kemp at the plate. And the 0-1 pitch. Freddie Freeman, the runner at first base. That's well hit. Deep left field. Matt Kemp, his first home run as an Atlanta Brave. Number 24 this year.
Remember, the Braves, even with Matt Kemp, they only had 66 home runs before today's game. Kemp's 24th of the year, but those are all with San Diego. And the Braves' 4th home run of the night. And none of them are solo shots.
Makes it now an 11-5 Braves lead here in the top of the 9th. A pair of 2-run homers, a pair of 3-run shots. Brings in Nick Markakis. And just now a right-hander starts to throw in the Cardinals' pen.
Jerome Williams in the Cardinals bullpen. They had the closer up, Jim Johnson, but that looks like O'Flaherty for the Braves. There's Jerome.
Hit the other way. That'll drop in for a hit. "13 hits for the Braves tonight. That'll be all for Broxton. Step aside. It'll be Jerome Williams in our Chevy called to the pen. For Broxton, a tough night for Jonathan Williams. His third appearance, a 0 ERA in 5 innings. So he comes in with 1 out, man at first, and the Braves pounding the baseball tonight. Here's Garcia with 1 out, runner at first base. And the first pitch is taken for a ball. It's an 11-5 Atlanta lead. Run in the first, 3 in the third, 3 in the fifth, and 4 here in the ninth. 2-0.
Cardinals brought in Broxton, trying to keep it a 2-run deficit, give the team a chance.
Out to left field. Holiday has to chase that one down. Runners at second and third, and only 1 out. Double for Garcia.
Sixth hit of the inning. First one allowed by Williams.
Brings in Jace Peterson. Go back to that play that he made at second base, and that's maybe our play of the game. The Cardinals down by 6 will bring the infield in.
Last night's promising win. You just hope they get on a little bit of a roll here at home against the Braves in Cincinnati on this homestand. Get your record back 500 or above.
Off the glove of Jerko, can't make the play. It's an error on Jed, his 6th. Bases loaded, still 1 out. Well, one of those nights for the Cardinals.
A little swinging bunt, come in here and you're hoping for a truer hop, misconnects, and it all just kind of snowballs on him. But now you've got the double play in order.
Brzezinski hit into a double play last time up in the 8th inning. Cardinals had back-to-back inning-ending double plays, 5, 4, 3 in the 7th and again in the 8th.
Go home to first or conventional double play, get out of this inning. Talked to AJ yesterday. He said he's still having fun. Wants to come back another year. You know, he hit 300 last year for the Braves, and they're very pleased with him. You and I both really enjoyed having him around.
For all the negative things you heard about with his spats with Ozzie Guillen in Chicago, many will tell you with the Atlanta Braves, he's been a good influence on a lot of their younger players, which may surprise some.
You know, a lot of times you get somebody like that from a distance, you don't really understand him.
There's your ground ball. Adams to the plate, out there. No throw by Rosario.
Then you get around him and you find out that, hey, he's a good guy.
I'm not sure if this was the case, but Adams charging and then going a little bit, it looked like, to his left to slow up A.J. Brzezinski. Just that little bit could give you the chance at the double play. Watch there.
It's not bad. You know, ball kind of pulled him towards the line a little bit.
Yeah.
But, you know, he accentuated and hopefully slow him up. Of course.
Here's Chase Darno. He started this inning with a base hit. The Braves batted around near the top of the ninth. And the 0-1 pitch. Hit down the left field line, and it is hooking. It is fair, and it stays in the ballpark. So d'Arnaud drives in a couple.
High towering fly ball, looked like it, if it stayed fair, it'd be a home run, but fell on this side of the right up against the. Look at how close this is, and then how fair. Right on. Chalk line, bounces up.
So 2 hits in the inning for d'Arnaud. And it brings in Inciarte with 2 outs, and now a 13-5 lead for the Braves. A big top of the ninth with 6 runs. Inning started at a score of 7-5, and now 13-5. Inciarte with a home run this inning, 3 hits in the game. And the 1-0 pitch by Jerome Williams on its way. 1 ball, 1 strike. Disappointing night. Carlos Martinez on the mound. Martinez 5 innings, 7 runs, gave up a pair of 3-run homers. Two strikes on Inciarte.
Broxton, third of an inning, 5 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, 1 strikeout, 2 home runs allowed, and his ERA runs up to 4.75.
Ball scoots away, runners stay put. Ground ball hit to second, bobbled by Wong with plenty of time to make the play. Big inning for Atlanta to extend their lead as we head to the bottom of the ninth. It's 13-5. Ender Inciarte 3 hits along with Freddie Freeman. Freeman 3 driven in, Inciarte with 2, and that duo with 6 runs scored for the Braves tonight. They are your Budweiser players of the game.
Michael Flaherty come in here trying to close things up.
All right, Al, you got to think about Adam Wainwright tomorrow. Rubber game of this 3-game set. If the Cardinals cannot come back.
Never say never. Hazel Baker trying 6.85 ERA for the lefty.
Hazel Baker, base hit into right.
About these pinch hitters.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable what they're done. They're pushing 400 in average.
Right.
Scotty 0 for 4. Love to get the line moving.
"13-5 score. Piscotty, base hit into center. And the first two have reached.
Keep the line moving.
Cardinals are out of position players, by the way. If the Cardinals do not come back, they would be 10.5 back of Chicago. And the realistic view of it would then be more than likely the wild card. Stranger things have happened. We've seen that.
To me, it's just incredible that they're the way they played at home, that they still are in contention, and right now would be tied for the second wild card. All the problems they have are easily correctable, but we haven't seen any signs of the correction.
You look at the head-to-head matchups with wild card teams. You're done with Miami, done with LA, but still a series left with San Francisco, who still may be a wild card. They are really struggling here in the second half of the season as we play in early August.
Actually, the Dodgers won today. San Francisco's leading big at Washington, 7-1 in the bottom of the ninth.
2-0 pitch. Good cut by Moss, and it's fouled back. Be interesting to hear Mike Matheny after the game on a couple of fronts. Injuries potentially to Carpenter and Yadier Molina. Hand contusion for Molina. Looked like Carpenter had done something to his side, which was injured, and put him on the DL for over a month. But also on instant replay, you know, where does he stand right now? Did he think that that was the right call? Is he happy with it in general? I'm sure he'll be asked about that in our post game, which you can see right here on Fox Sports Midwest. Two-two pitch. If you just tune into the game, you're saying, what's the big deal? It's 13-5, but at that time in the 8th, it was a diving stop by Peterson with 1 out to get Tommy Pham. And that would have stayed with 1 out, runners at the corners down by 2. The go-ahead run coming up. Two-two pitch. Strikeout of Moss. Holiday's had a good night. 3 hits. Could be 2 out at second. And a double play as this game comes to a close. The Braves win at 13-5. Wainwright going for St. Louis tomorrow in Game 3.
Well, you feel comfortable with that, but you're sure disappointed that Carlos Martinez couldn't pick up win number 11. And then this ball game slipped away from the Cardinals late as they were trying to mount the comeback. But very frustrating when you can't beat some of these bad ball clubs or expansion teams or rebuilding teams, whatever you want to call them.
So it's on to the post-game show. Scott Warman and the gang standing by. 13-5, the Braves win it.